Hello everybody and welcome to another Total Annihilation replay. Today I've got a game from 2009 here, a team game. This is one of those random ones that happened on Zone, and we've got the Mr. Finland, King of Finland TA, Tiptushi and Aprox on the west side here. On the east side we've got Gaia and someone I don't think we've had on the channel so far, Glufetz. Who really came into prominence later. I want to say I got to play a lot of good games with him. He's really fun to play with as well as the rest of this crew. So, map is Vittu, and I may be pronouncing that wrong. And here is Aprox putting out some notes. He says, Gaia will go and reclaim C, and that's actually what they were chatting about. Gluff or Gaia, I don't remember exactly who said they were gonna try air. Aprox said he's gonna do 2 vehicle and informs Tip that he has to guard top in some way. So, and good for Tip to clean up all that mess. Gluff says he's gonna do 4 cons, reclaim, and walk. So wind is good on Vittu. Guy just says, whatever, make sure you have anti-air. Now, because my dot sonar command didn't work, I dropped these out, so these aren't by anybody who's actually playing, but that'll give us line of sight underwater. Tip's asking for some metal. Aprox seems pretty confident, saying giving them a lead isn't that bad of an idea, in his humble opinion. Of this batch, if I had to say, Gluff would probably be considered the weakest of them, but that doesn't necessarily mean he can't hold his own and really take the fight to whomever he's up against. So that might be what Aprox is thinking there, that, oh, well, because Gluff's on that team, then that means we can give him a little lead and it's not going to be an issue. I would be very cautious with that kind of talk. Guy's gone fast C here. I'll go ahead and I'll speed this up for you guys so we can get to the action. Gluff dropping missile towers in case they go air. Aprox says we team up quite nicely. He's reclaiming and going C. Gaia's already there. Aprox says Gaia C. So Tip says, okay, there are no errors. So he sees that they're C and they're C quickly, based because he knows that he went 2 cons to walk. And that Aprox did the same thing, so he can assume that they didn't go air so they could get into the C quickly. It's a very safe assumption. Missile towers on shore, as well as the fresh skeets from the factory drive off the little raid. Looks like they only managed to get away with a pair of mexes. Tip says, don't take share off, just limit it. So now Tip's walked topside here, whereas it looks like Gluff is going to be the one who's heading up to the top. Tip's sending a Jeffy around, and his commander's just going for a lovely little walk. Tip building dragon's teeth around his metal extractors. He always liked to do that. Gluff takes that sniper shot on the speeding Jeffy, takes it out in motion. Good shooting. Tip says that Gluff is top. Interestingly enough, Tip is deciding to drop a light laser tower. This looks like a little bit of a metal delivery here from Aprox. Aprox says weird. The guy has really got him outnumbered in the skeet department. He's probably thinking that's weird because he's been building nothing but skeet. He hasn't stopped building cons. to build any cons. He says, give me so my skeets don't get hurt. So he's asking for the missile towers. It's part of the short defense. Tip goes Degon happy. Guy says, just go Degon him. Glufetz says, calm? Guy says, no, stuff. So you can see this might be why Tip dropped this light laser tower. He was thinking maybe a comm would show up. But it does, and that laser tower doesn't do anything. A cheeky comm rush here. Gluf bags it. Gluf's in pretty good shape. That was a nice rush by him right there. That pushes Tip back. Splits the map nice and evenly down the middle for him. In the meantime, Tip has backfilled these metal extractors in the backside. Gluf already has his capped. Tip's got a little bit further forward. Here's kind of your dividing line. Tip says, I'm not doing good here. Just get all stuffed, Degon. And Aprox says, you'll be fine. Guy says, mass flash, don't be afraid or let him corner you. He has nothing back there. That is a correct assessment by Gaia, even though he hasn't scouted him. You can tell just the more experienced players, you just kind of get a feel for the state of the game as far as where it's at. Big raid by Gaia right here. Outnumbers him. Wipes out his ski force. Guy's got one con out. Cleaning up the wreckage. Aprox has no idea where he's getting his M from. Using the little trick right here, taking out the underwater metal extractor. Mass and flashes. And this is Gaia right here. He's going for a little bit of a peek on the shore. Tip says, I think I need Guardian. Aprox says, I'll lose C because he knows he's going to have to give metal to Tip for that Guardian. Nice try by Aprox here to take out the con, but he just loses all his skeets for the trouble. He says, mass MT on post and go Pels. Tip basically recognizes the water is lost at this point. The guy's got way too much. He's asking for cons. So the small lead that Tip and that Aprox was suggesting that it would be okay to give Gluf and Gaia really looks like it wasn't the best call at this point. Gluf nearly has his Guardian up. Tip went for a Sentinel first, give a little point defense. Aprox says, LOL, he has so much. He's also capping all the underwater metal extractors as well as cleaning up these wreck fields. Guy is in really good shape. And the guard shots are being fired. Tip is nanoblocking. See, he drops those frames, blocking the shots as they come in. He looks like he's fully committed to this Guardian at this point. Gluf did mark it. It did come into his line of sight. He looks like he's cleaning out some of the missile towers. Unfortunately, his nanoblocking is in range. And we have an epic Guardian battle here. Now this is some of the OTA style fights you see all the time. You have somebody repairing the Guardian, so you have a con repairing or a commander repairing, and another one consistently throwing up nanoblocks. Occasionally a shot gets through. Tip's keeping his Guardian really, really healthy. Right now, this started around the 13-minute mark. Gaia says, don't lose that war. He sees the guard war that's going on. Now he says send that con down to repair, but Tip was able to snipe that con. Flash is coming in. Now it might have been better for Gluf at that point to try and use the flash to keep the nano block down and attack it from the front side. can see how the flash shooting from the sun side, he's not able to get his nano block up until he takes care of the flash. The Guardian's really low health. Manages to get his nano block back up. Tip's putting all his attention and time into that right now. Gaia is bringing a sub in, trying to finish the job here and push Aprox out of the water, but Aprox has managed to get Pels. Tip's asking for E. He needs it because you actually need energy to be able to repair. Aprox turns on to share energy. He says no, win the guard war first. Sub versus Crusader. A classic fight. If that Crusader doesn't move, it will lose the fight. Lots of missile towers and shore defense. You can see right here, there we go. Gaia brings in his skeets to block, and the Crusader sinks. The sub is victorious. Aprox is driven from the water. So remember, that happened this started around 13 minutes. We are nearly at 16 minutes at this point, and this guard war is still going on. Both players having to devote full attention to keeping their Guardians nano-blocked and operational. Gluf has pushed some flashes behind. Not a bad call. Would have been better, though, to attack the Guardian? I don't know. Gaia clearing off some of those. He's going K-Bot as well. He wants those sweet, sweet Pelicans. Guard war still going on here. Now that's why Gluf decided to go around there. It looks like that Sentinel is doing a pretty good job of keeping those flashes gone. Because Gluf is paying his attention on other things, his Guardian is really, really, really low. Tips is about half health. Aprox says, guard my 2 cons going up. I'll try to make some metals with those flash. So he's going to try and recap. Gluf is repairing. Tip says, I'm a bit busy. Basically, he's been continuing this guard war. Started again, like I said, at 13 minutes. We are 4.5 minutes into this guard war at this point. He's attacking the commander. Tip's in trouble. Down to red. Gluf's comm in the red. Tiptushi slinging D-Gun out from behind his nano block. Continuing to repair the Guardian. Another hit scored. Gluf's in the red. Tip's still in the very red, very close to gone. Tip's asking Aprox to cap top again. He is busy. We are 6 minutes into this guard war. Here comes Tip flashes. He sees the vehicle plant. Gaia wants to defend himself from the Pelicans. He's got his own coming out, but because Aprox went at first, he was actually able to come in, and it looks like he's back in the water and he's got a wreck field to boot. Real good job by Gluf to clean out these resources on the top side, all while maintaining this guard war, pushing into its 7th minute at this point. He's saying, roach him. And now, right at the 20-minute mark, Tiptushi is victorious, even though his guard was up second. He was actually able to beat Gluf's Guardian, and Tip comes out ahead in a near 7-minute Guardian. Gaia says it's okay, we are ahead. Tip says it's okay, I won it. This will push Gluf back. So this isn't exactly a good use of units by Gluf right here, sending him one at a time. That may have just been a simple move order. Tip says he needs metal so bad. Sorry, that may have been a move order out of the factory to have it automatically go here because he was busy fighting that guard war. Good job by Gluf here, coming in the back, taking advantage of Tiptushi's soft top side. Cleans up a con. Gaia advises Gluf to go ahead and make a new Guardian quickly. Gaia going air. He's got his Geo up. Aprox has his Geo up too. And Aprox is capping those underwater metal extractors, really bringing the resources back into balance, except at this point, Gluf's doing a great job at controlling the top side. Patrolling with those flashes. Now, Gluf knows there's a lot of missile towers down here. I don't know if this is necessarily the best choice. Looks like he's probably only going to get a missile tower and a wind for his trouble. Gluf's got another Guardian up. This one is back out of range of Tip's previous one. We will just see if Tip challenges it. Aprox turning the tide down here on the bottom, pushing in. Pelicans are on land, so now they can actually be hit by the skeet missiles. You can see how quickly they get knocked down as a result. Leaves some decent wrecks on the Gaia's shore right there in exchange for a metal extractor and a handful of winds. Gluf's farming more winds on the top side. Tip appears to be pummeling this. He wants to turn that into powder to make it worth 500 metal down to 200. Aprox is saying, get vehicle. Tip is nothing but this plant right here. Gaia says, don't rush, we're ahead. Gluf says, I'm not. He is incorrect. At this point, Gluf's at 27, Aprox at 27, Tip at 16, and Gaia at 25. So Aprox is a little bit ahead of Gaia, and Gluf is way ahead of Tip, especially on resources at this point. But as Tip likes to say, it has a lot more to do with momentum. Winning that guard war was a big momentum swing for Tiptushi. Gaia trying to clean out these underwater metal extractors. Aprox, seeing that that Gaia's pels are distracted, he comes in to do a little lasering. He's got a Moho Metal Maker he plans on turning on once he's got enough winds to power it. Tip spies the Guardian. He is out of range, but it looks like he's happy at this point. He's managed to pull his commander back, and his commander is back to full health. A cool 16 kills. Aprox says scout Gaia as soon as possible. Gluf says I need to go BB. Gaia says K if you want. And that's probably not a bad choice for Mr. Gluf. Tip says bomber. Looks like he was trying to line bomb this row of winds right here. He got the first one, but he didn't get the second. He probably misclicked due to the fact that he was coming off of a higher elevation right here. Good job by Gaia here to clean up the con. Looks like they're going to be neatly splitting the map right down the middle. You might be wondering, why do they keep building skeets to run into pels, even though skeets are not particularly effective against pelicans? A lot of that comes from the fact that they still do a little bit of damage with the lasers, and they also absorb shots for your own pelicans. You can see, though, Gaia is actually switching. He's going to be pushing out a Crusader. Aprox says, share an aircon, please. He's going to scout. He's a bit low on everything, including energy. Aprox won that fight, and he's pushing in. He's got a Stingray, which is the heavy laser tower. Tip says not much, so Aprox thought that they were further behind than they actually were. Tip says, give me a few Farks for bombers, so Tip plans on doing a little bombing with his airplane. Really smart there for him to scout. Gaia hasn't really scouted Tip on the top side. Here comes Tip scouting Gluf on the top side. He sees that Gluf's gone vehicle plant, which means he probably knows what's coming. Gluff's got a lovely Dragon's Tooth Maze right here. There's not very many land units that are going to be getting through that. Knowing that if I were Gluff, I probably wouldn't be dropping this Sentinel there, but he's also putting up this big Bertha. Yeah, I would dump all the metal into the Bertha. Tip says not much resources. That's where he's a little bit wrong. And he sees it now. Marks out the BB, but he sees all the wins. He says top going Big Bertha. Gaia using Force Fire here to get the Crusaders to hit the Pelicans with their depth charges. Brings out an Aircon to clean up this mess right here. It's good news for Gaia to have that wreck field under his control. Aprox really going farm heavy on these titles. I believe they make 20 on this map. Smart by Aprox to come down here and clean up these Ulak trees that Gaia had ignored while he had control. Gaia is just a blink away from me these researchers over here. Tip says, make me a few roaches, I can kill his Crusaders with them. And my understanding is at this time, and probably to this day, Tip rather enjoys doing some roach bombing. Tip says, never mind, I'll bomb him. He's planning on coming in with his bombers. Scores a few hits. The bombers get stuck on a Pels, leaves them sitting duck, and that sinks a Crusader. Sorry, the Crusader got stuck on a Pelican. The Big Bertha's done, but Tip has a swarm of bombers ready. This is more than enough bombers. Getting a feel for the elevation, he comes in. No nano blocking by Gluff at all. He wasn't ready for that. Completely wipes out the Big Bertha. Tip says I got his Big Bertha before it even fired a shot. Guy says should have windshield. Tip says go Hawks. Here comes that Roach Bomb. Brilliant Roach Bomb by Tip right there. Wipes out all the Pelicans and does some serious damage to the Crusaders. That actually really turns the tide for Aprox right here. Sorry, it was Aprox who did that Roach Bomb right there. He was controlling that. Gluff says I come to see. He says Tip can't hurt up here. Guy says just stay. That's probably the right call. Gluff should either be pushing Big Bertha or Hawks. Tip's not in C. I don't think you really gain anything by having two people doing it. Although it looks like Gluff is going to insist on doing that. Tip says peeping Gaia. That's also a hint to Aprox. The reason why he's saying it is not just like narrating what he does. He's actually telling Aprox, I'm scouting him, so you should look too. And that way Aprox can mark things out. Another incoming Invader Bomb. Not as good as his first one. Swings 2 pills for his trouble. Tip flies in the bomb. You can see how the arm bombers, when they started to stack up, they all just kind of blew up at once. That's what happens when they get too tight. Tip, while I was away, has gone massive wind farm. He is confident that 2 heavy laser towers and a Guardian can defend him because he also recognized that Gluff really wasn't going land units, especially considering the Dragon Tooth Fortress that he had built. Aprox controlling this wreck field down here. Tip says I prepare for a ground attack. More roaching by Aprox. That's got to be really annoying. Aprox going Hawks. Planning on putting out the Dirty Birds. Gaia also putting out the Dirty Birds. Nice look by Gaia there to bag that Crusader. Tip, trying to help his ally out again. Another big invader. But this wreck field looks like it's pretty secure in Gaia's hands at this point. Marking out where the Hawks are being produced. Glufetz says getting advanced bombers. It doesn't look like Glufetz actually cleaned up his mess yet up here. This is a recorder error and he's already reclaimed it. But that would be 2,000 metal leaving, and powder he's leaving on the ground there. Tip's asking if he's okay. Aprox says, yeah, I think so. Looks like he's got the wreck field. He doesn't have anything to go over there and clean it up yet. I imagine he'll be getting an aircon out there shortly. There they are. Here it comes. Cute by Aprox here. He's capped the bottom of these. Seems like Gaia has forgotten that that island exists. That's definitely going to come in handy. Another +4 metal for him. Tip marking out the Moho. I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like that's actually a smart move by Tip if you were to take that out. Glufetz doesn't appear to have his advanced con. Gaia again contesting this wreck field. Big time title farm in the back here. Aprox pushing around 80 metal, Gaia around 65, Glufetz around 20 to 35. Looks like he's fluctuating. And Tip is now at 62 as well. Looks like the west side has clearly taken a big lead. And Tip looks like he's planning on trying to break Glufetz's iron wall with land units. Rockos are excellent base buster, low rate of fire but high damage missiles, really good at shooting static targets. And of course the infamous Flash, the do-all tank, light tank that moves fast, hits hard. Aprox showing advanced C. Nice job by Glufetz here cleaning out the vehicle plant. And he spies the winds. He knows where he's got to drop bombs down. Aprox bombing the Crusaders again. Good job by Gaia there, catching those overextending Hawks out. And Glufetz being cute, looks like he went subs. He says, make me some Crusaders. And it looks like he's running right into a trap here. That's a pretty piece of metal there to leave on their doorstep. Tip going advanced air now. He's got more than enough resources to do it at this point. Glufetz looks like he's hovering closer, it says 50 right now, but he's low on energy, so he's probably closer in the 40s. Gaia is sitting at around 60, but again, he's got that wreck field to work with. Looks like Aprox has got him outnumbered on Hawks, but that was really nice UC by Gaia right there. Avoiding the Hawks, able to go in, get some pinpoint airstrikes, take out those Crusaders. Nice little swarm getting built up by both players. Aprox just running off of 1, 2 advanced air. Gaia running off of 2 with plenty of Farks. Aprox is pushing out his hive. He's got his advanced C down. There's a bit of a risk. Aprox says, good, I got C War 1, and that is probably a correct assessment. He's got his advance, and he was able to stop Gaia's push. Tip says, I'm not sure if I can make it. Tip flies in, bombs the heavy laser tower, and he comes in for his ground attack. Smart move by Tip there to bomb out the defenses. And without the heavy laser towers, Tip gets through the doorway, but then the wreckage stops him up. Tip says, keep Gaia's Hawks busy if you can. Aprox says, I'll try. He brings his own Hawks in on the south side. And the numbers get really, really thin here. You can see now we're down to 3-3. And Tip's even brought some hammers. You can see how they take a while to open up. That one didn't even get to fire a shot. But Gluf is pushed back. It's only got his row of missile towers now, but he also has his Big Bertha up. Oh, he did get to keep his con. Tip says BB somewhere. That Big Bertha is currently just getting some veteran status. Looks like he scouted. He's going to take out the labs. Try and stem the flow of the units. Tip says, I'll get it in 2 minutes. Aprox says 20. Must have misread it. Guy's defending. Gluf's Big Bertha. That Big Bertha shot's flying in, taking out the labs. Gluf is bombing the units. Are there enough missile towers and Hawks to be able to defend him? Tip's got his own Hawks up. That hammer actually managed to open up an attack. Tip shoots down the bombers. Aprox says he's coming. Finds the Big Bertha. Aprox says, LOL, those are yours. In comes the bombers. More than enough. Turns that Big Bertha to powder. Gluf is got no meat left on his bones right here. He's just got his skeleton resources left. He looks like wiped out on the top side. Tip says if you need metal, reclaim it top. Plenty of energy at this point. Aprox says, thanks for the tip. LOL. That is a dad joke if I've ever heard one. Guy is still pretty big, but he is not nearly as big as Aprox is at this point. Plenty of Hawks from Aprox, sinking Gluf C. And Tip has his Big Bertha up. Aprox says Big Bertha on me. Let's see if Gaia has his Big Bertha up. Tip says I'll get a BB on it. They have it spied. Tip's Big Bertha opens fire. He's repairing it. Right now it's currently shooting and taking out this C resource. But we have a Big Bertha fight on our hands now. Still cleaning up C resources. He hasn't even started firing yet. And it gets wiped out by Tiptushi's Big Bertha shot. Gaia says GG. He recognizes the state of things. He sets the speed to 10. And he surrenders. Gluf goes with him. Aprox says, good job, Tip. Tip says, you too. And then they go ahead and reject Nikan for the fun of it. Alright, well that is one epic 2 versus 2 on Vittu there. That was definitely an impressive win for Tip to be able to swing that out after Gluf absolutely rolled him on the top side. Tip won the guard war, but Gluf recognized that he could go around and really gut him out, and he was able to take the resource lead above that, thanks to some perfectly timed bombing by Tiptushi, taking out that early big berth. It really kept him back in the game. And Aprox and Gaia were more or less, they looked pretty even most of the game, really back and forth. But the edge, I think, gained by Tip overcoming Top. Aprox was able to support Tip enough while he was behind to really get them both back into the game. And they both went to SimCity, big builder. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. One thing here at the end of the video, I absolutely want to shout out a brand new Total Annihilation channel. And this one is being hosted by the Kiwi Gamma, who is the creator of the Mayhem mod. Now, I haven't had the opportunity, well, I have had the opportunity, but I haven't had the time to check out Mayhem myself. But he is putting up some pretty cool demos of Total Annihilation Mayhem games. So if you're interested in checking that out, I will leave a link in the description for you guys to follow over to his channel. Make sure you give him a subscribe and hit the like button on his channel as well, so that way people who are interested in Total Annihilation content are able to swing by his place and check it out. And of course, as always with us, make sure you dig on that subscribe button and bomb the notification button, so that way you know when we drop something new. I know I've been out for a little bit lately. I've had a very, very busy fall, but hopefully with it being winter and my business no longer being in full swing, I'll have a little bit of extra time to build up the queue here. So anyway, we'll be doing our best to keep some weekly uploads going, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.